Namaste, Suswagatam, and welcome to our Sunday edition of Words of Wisdom Gyan Ganga on our Virat Hindustan social media channels. As you know, we are on numerous channels, social media channels at the same time. Today is episode number 236, and the topic is Coalition Government in India, Challenges and the Way Forward. And with Dr. Subramanian Swamy for the next 45 minutes, we will be discussing this very important issue. We are sorry that last Sunday we could not have our program, but we thank our viewers across the globe for the tremendous response we have been getting for our past episode. So, with these words, it is over to Dr. Subramanian Swamy.
Thank you, Jagdish. We are now in a new era of coalition politics, and we need to understand the ramification. Since 2014, we have had a one-party rule in terms of majority in parliament, and that was that of the BJP. We had allies, but the allies just wanted to be part of us so that they could get their work done in their constituencies, etc. But the power was totally in the hands of the BJP, and that was only after many years. Jawaharlal Nehru came; he had absolute majority for three terms. 1952, then 52, then 57, and then 62. 62, of course, it was pre the attack of the Chinese, so it didn't show up. He did very well in the 62 elections. But then in 1967, there had also been a big shortage of water, and food was inseparated, and so on, and therefore the 1967 there were a new situation. Congress still got a majority in 1967, but in the states the opposition in coalitions were able to create a government. They were not very stable because nobody understood the kind of things that happened. In fact, part of it was breaking of the Congress in the state level. But that went on. And then in 1971, Mrs. Gandhi brought this Garibi Hatao and bank nationalization and so on, and there was a lot of excitement. And she came with a thundering majority. And then the Bangladesh war further strengthened her. So somewhere in 1974, Mrs. Gandhi suffered a setback from the courts. She was found as having misused her office to build the platforms for her election meetings, and the single judge set her aside, and also set her unable to fight and join parliament for 6 years. So therefore, the matter, of course, went in appeal, and Justice Krishna Iyer set that aside, and she then became a bit of a dictator. She understood the issues, and therefore she began taking stands which became more and more difficult. In the meantime, the Jayaprakash Narayan brought in a movement, and in Gujarat, Moraji Desai was able to bring about a change. In fact, he even got in the assembly elections, he got the Janta Morcha, as it was called, which is Congress O, the breakaway group from Indira Gandhi, and Jansangh. Together they formed a government in Gujarat. So there was a lot of changes that were happening, And Mrs. Gandhi saw this, all this is leading to a situation where she was going to lose the election, so she declared emergency. And with the emergency, people suffered for almost 20 months. And then, of course, she saw slowly many things happen. She herself told me that one of the factors that made her decide to go for elections was the fact that I was able to leave India, go to America, campaign there, and then arrive back in India all on my own passport, land in Palam Airport, the Delhi airport, and then turn up in Parliament, make a short speech, and then disappear again, and ended up in America, and they couldn't catch. She said she was shattered by that such a thing could happen, which meant there was a lot of complicity that was going on against her. And so she began thinking of the elections, and the elections were held. And in the elections, like we saw today, recently, the people were kept quiet till the voting came, and then voting, they acted. Narendra Modi never thought that he's going to be in this situation. He himself, his majority in Varanasi fell from some 5 lakh margin to, I think, 1,20,000 or something like that. So after that, there were a series of coalitions. Vajpayee had a coalition. Narasimha Rao overcame the coalition by inducting them into the party. So it was a Congress party's full majority after some time. But generally speaking, the Vajpayee thing. And then when Congress came, they also came as a coalition. And the coalition was there. And then people felt that coalitions don't work. And therefore, when the BJP got an absolute majority in 2014, everybody was very pleased. And then that also made a difference. It was a very poor show as far as economics is concerned. But a feeling that, now we are talking about Hindutva, and we are talking about things which the people have been wanting for many, many years. And so they supported us again in 2019. And we again got a majority, a little bigger majority. And so when this this election came in 2024, people were expecting maybe our thing will go up, and Mr. Amit Shah also boasted we'll get 400 seats and so on. And a lot of the media was anyway gagged, so they were not they were not putting out the stories, they were not putting out the opinion of the opposition. So people began to feel yes, now which is going to be Modi till 2047. And so in this context, the one factor which was extremely crucial and which all the propagandists of the BJP had tried to suppress, and that was the failure in the economic front. It was a real serious failure. It was failure in terms of providing adequate salaries for the lower classes. There's inflation which was all underplayed, and most of the statistics that came out from the finance ministry was not really finance ministry work. It came out from the Prime Minister's office, and then the finance minister, Mr. Nirmala Sitharaman, just signed wherever they said she has to sign. So the economic advisors in the finance ministry used to complain to me, what is the use of being there? So many of them then went away to the World Bank to get better jobs. So I think what had happened is that Mr. Modi ended up fooling himself, thinking that everybody is for you because there's no opposition. The opposition are all gagged. They were not coming on television. They were not coming on the newspapers because they're all the PMO officials would go to various ministry newspapers and tell them why you put this man's who's opposing us. Why have you given him publicity? And so in the process, they ended up fooling themselves, and that led to the situation where for the first time after 2014, we didn't get majority. Now, I would think, before I hand this over to you for discussion, I would think that if you were always saying BJP, 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 Narendra Modi, Narendra Modi, Narendra Modi, two things happened. Narendra Modi's margin went down from the usual 5 lakhs to just 1.2 lakhs or something like that. And that also we don't know. I mean, whether a proper counting would have been different, but doesn't matter. We go by that. But this is a big fall. And we found that where he was tom-tomming about Ram Mandir, Modi had nothing to do with it. The matter went to the Supreme Court. He was not there. I was there. So I know it was I who brought the main matter that faith tells us that Ram was born there. And there's no way anybody can say that we won't agree, because faith is something that you can't overrule in a religious matter. And the Muslims also have such faith, and we don't come in their way. So therefore it was agreed, and the Muslims also who were participants in the Supreme Court, they also agreed. And so we had a peaceful transition. But Mr. Modi then jumped as if he had done the whole thing and so on. And now we find a very ordinary person has defeated our candidate, a favorite candidate of Mr. Modi, in Ayodhya. Ayodhya is won by Mulayam Singh's party, and not by our party. They are all opponents, but still they won. And so this is something that we must take notice of. We have still our government, but the government, what kind of government is that? You didn't have majority. And now you are depending on, yes, you are depending on your allies who are with you. But are these allies for your ideology? Because BJP is for ideology. It is not, BJP is not for being in power. I mean, we want to be in power to do our ideological work. So if you are going to give it up, can Mr. Modi now talk about anything about Hindutva in this new government? No. For 5 years, you're not going to talk about Hindutva. All Nitish will say, no, I will be finished in Bihar, and he'll walk out and you're down. And if this man can also do that, after all, the first thing he has done when he went back to Andhra is do exactly what we would never like to do. I mean, the kinds of things he has done for the Muslim community in just 3 days, it's something that's not made it to the newspapers here, but your people should have a look. So what I would say this is that 2024 was a setback. To say that we are now third, on the third term. And look at this, Mr. Modi. He runs to Italy to attend what he says attend. He was not invited for attending. He was told that there is a group of 7. They're G7 as it's called. There are two kind of categories in G conferences. One is 7 people, 7 important countries in which India is not there. And then there's about some 20, G20. G20, you see, is like a mela. And so 20 countries coming with all the... But it was not a G20, it was G7. And it was said that any country which is part of the G20 but not of G7 can send a representative to witness the conference. That is, if there's a wedding and you go and see the bride and groom, that doesn't mean that you are actually getting married. And later on to say that I was the bridegroom. So Mr. Modi goes there. Nobody has asked him to speak. There's not a speech he was asked. He was not recognized in the meeting because he was not allowed to be in the main meeting. He was there sitting outside. He was seeing part of it through the television. So why did he do this? I mean, India is such a big country, the biggest populated country. And Mr. Modi goes there and sits like some kind of an audience. for a G7 meeting where he's not called, he's not asked, there's nothing. And just because other countries' prime ministers and presidents meet him, that doesn't mean anything, because they know that Mr. Modi represents India. So they are not going to be rude to India. So therefore, it is not a tribute to him that they all came and shook his hand. I mean, that's nothing. Spend all this money going there to do what? So it shows a certain moral degradation that has taken place in Mr. Modi. And now that he is not able to deliver majority, I think time has come to look at whether we are going to go down, 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 or we are going to try to turn around by getting new people to head the party, and the person who will be the prime minister, and even ministers. These have to be selected who know the subject, and to bring that about. So the topic, as you very correctly, coalition government and the way forward. The way forward today, in my opinion, is that you have a new set of people, and those who have failed in the past, they must go. We should give a chance to other people to occupy their positions, especially in the important economies like foreign policy, agriculture, foreign finance ministry. There are so many such things which are very crucial, and these require a new faces, because the present faces are just stooges of the bureaucracy of India, and they only sign files. That's all. Beyond that, they don't do anything. So therefore, we need people who have become personalities. Then that means the prime minister shouldn't get jealous if one of the minister starts shining. Like if Gadkari starts shining because he's putting roads in a very nice way, and people are very happy, and his name, they are saying JJ for him. So then you sort of sideline him, put him in the corner, make him humiliated. This is all wrong. We can't allow that. So I am very happy to see a new development where the RSS chief has very diplomatically expressed some views. I think he must take it back, take it forward. And we also, what we are debating today is, was Modi right in becoming prime minister again on a technicality, not because the people wanted him. People only, didn't give us majority. So people didn't want him. And then by a technicality, you become the third time prime minister. And whether we should now think in terms of persuading him to step down, particularly since on September 17th, he will become 75. And as a RSS Pracharak, he is bound by discipline to leave politics and go to Gyan, what is that? Some Gyan Darshan or something, where he has to, sit and be available to those who want his advice. So this is the key that we have to discuss. It may not be possible to discuss now because it's a very early stage, but I do think that we have to express an opinion that this was not a victory for BJP. It was it is true that we have a majority as a coalition, but that coalition is not based on a mutuality of ideology. It is based on people coming together for convenience, and they can leave at any time. In fact, their ideology is totally different from our ideology. So we are likely to have, in the next 6 months, a fall of this government and a new government coming about, which I think would be a disaster if Congress party became the beneficiary of that. Over to you, Jagdish.
Thank you, Dr. Swamy, for giving us that insight into coalition government and the way forward. Now, I would like to ask you, Dr. Swamy, there are reports in the newspapers and some editorial written that the BJP parliamentary party, which would consist of the elected MPs, why did they not meet for electing a leader of the BJP parliamentary party? Why did directly the NDA meet? Could you tell our viewers something on that, if this is factual, that the BJP parliamentary party? I wish to inform our viewers that parliamentary party and parliamentary board are two different things.
Yeah.
Parliamentary party means the organization of BJP of the elected MPs.
Yeah.
Over to Dr. Swamy.
Well, it's a very, very good point, and I thought that it should come in a debate because it's a very big point. The fact of the matter is that the coalition is not registered in the election commission. It is what the coalition that we had is of people who have agreed to join with us, and some of them even used our symbol and participated in the election. Now, the real core for us is the BJP parliamentary party. And as you may know, the BJP parliamentary party met before the elections and nominated Mr. Modi to continue to lead the party in the coming election. But at that time, of course, they were sure they'll be getting absolute majority. So it is always so, and it has been always throughout, that once the election takes place, the leader is elected by the parliamentary party, and that is conveyed then to the election commission, which will then, of course, convey it to the president also. And then that parliamentary party leader will call his coalition and then say that we now have to go to the president and stake a claim. So please sign this so we get it. Modi didn't do that. He did it in the opposite direction. And that, in my opinion, it makes it de facto. I'm not saying de jure, but de facto. Yeah, I would say it's illegal. And I would say that if somebody does raise it with the President of India and she was a strong person, she would immediately inform that the President Prime Minister should give an explanation. And from then on, we can make the ball roll about it. So the point you have raised is very correct. And it's pity that none of our newspapers are talking about it.
Arvind, do you have any next question?
Yeah, before I ask question, I'll just mention what Dr. Swamy started with. He said about the turning point came for coalition politics way back in 1967. And if we look at the history of coalitions in India, coalitions have been formed by either regional parties or with the help of regional parties or with the help of a faction after a split in the ruling party. Now, even 1967, there was a split in the ruling party, which was Congress. And in many states, Dr. Swamy mentioned, for example, in Uttar Pradesh, the Sanyukta Vidhayak Dal, SVD government was formed when Chaudhry Charan Singh walked out of the Congress and he formed his own party called Jan Congress, and which later on he converted in 1969 into a party called Bharati Kranti Dal, whose symbol was adopted by Janata Party later on. So it happened in Madhya Pradesh, it happened in Rajasthan, it happened in many other states. So there has been a history of coalition politics against Congress for a long time. It was repeated in 1971 when all opposition parties formed into a Mahagathbandhan. It did not succeed. 75, Loknayak Jayaprakash Narayan also had actually woven some kind of coalition only. Janata Party was also a coalition. In fact, if I say there have been two major parties, or maybe including the new avatar of BJP, which is Jan Sangh earlier, there have been politics of coalition only. Lohia used to say that Congress is also not one party. Congress is a faction of several parties. And if you recall, of course, now the Congress is very weak, so the vocal factions are not there. But earlier there used to be leftist wing in Congress, rightist wing, or a Yuva Turk movement led by Chandrasekhar and Ramdhan and Mohan Dharia and others. So all the parties have been a subject of coalition. Coalitions have been in the state governments. Coalition have been in the central government. In fact, 1989, after BP Singh walked out of the Congress, and he helped build a coalition in the name of Janata Dal. But there have been success and failure. For example, BP Singh was a failure. And not only BP Singh was a failure, even in 1996, when BJP did not get a majority or Congress did not get a majority, and the third front coalition was also attempted. So there have been different colors of coalitions and different hues and colors in Indian politics. Some of them have succeeded, some of them have not succeeded. Now let me come to the question. We are discussing the way forward. For example, today, the government which we see has a near majority but is short of majority. So there have been cases like this in 1991 when Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated and Narasimha Rao formed the government. They did not have a majority, but they were the dominant party. So when there is a dominant party, the failure of the coalition is not possible or normally is not there. But when there is no dominant party, then only there is a failure. So do you think, do you agree if I say that since BJP is a dominant party in today's coalition, the coalition will succeed and it will last for the full term? If this kind of a narrative is created, will you agree with this or disagree? If you disagree, the reason?
You see, the question basically is this. What is the difficulty in holding the parliamentary party meeting and telling them we don't have majority, but we have now allies who have given us a letter, and so with them we will go and form a government. In the meantime, elect our new leader of the parliamentary party of BJP. What is the difficulty in Mr. Modi doing that? Why didn't he do it?
मुझे लगता है कि शायद आरएसएस
एक बात पूरा वही है, बट उसके लिए आपको हमें कम से कम 10 मिनट देना पड़ेगा. तो पहले
जी सर.
The president was not hostile to the Mr. Modi. So neither the chairman of the election commission. So what was the difficulty for him? What was in his mind? What motivated him not to go before the parliamentary party of BJP MPs, get a mandate from them that even though I have failed in getting the absolute majority, I'm still willing to serve you? And they say, no, you have done very good work in the last two terms, now you continue. And then come to these coalition partners and say that may I. He didn't do this. He didn't do it even after he was nominated as the coalition prime minister. The meeting he held, he had only a few people, and poor Gadkari was kept in one corner, with no respect for him. So I'm saying that you have to explain to me why Modi did not call the parliamentary party and tell them we don't have majority, but there are people who are willing to give us support and we can still form the government. Give me that permission. That's the democratic way of doing it. So, Mr. Arvind Chaturvedi, Dr. Arvind Chaturvedi, please tell me why Modi didn't do it.
Sir, as the results were coming out on 4th of June, it was clear by the daytime, maybe noon, that BJP is not getting majority and BJP is going down the hill, and the
Yes.
number of BJP seats may go down as low as 200 also. And at that time, this murmur started. You may call it political gossip or whatever, but there were some indications that there are leaders within the Bharatiya Janata Party who may challenge
Yes.
Modi's leadership in case Modi falls short of the majority, and that's what happened. But by the evening, how it was managed, I do not know. In fact, many people still say that some of the seats which were won by BJP with a small margin were also not clear victories. For example, in Bombay, Jagdish knows this person has won by 48 votes, and now the new information is coming out that the EVM was opened with somebody's phone, and the probe is still on, forensic probe on, that how this phone was used to open the EVM and all that. But I'm saying 240 was a good number favoring Narendra Modi as a leader, and there was a fear in the mind of Narendra Modi. This is what my reading is, that RSS may suggest an alternative name in case Modi fails, blaming him for the defeat. But RSS did not act because we had discussed in the last program also, and Dr. Swamy, you know it very well, that RSS does not act in a haste. RSS works very slowly. It takes its own time for taking decisions. Decisions which can be taken maybe in a day, they take about a week. The decisions which can be taken in a week, they take months. And decisions which can be taken in a month, they take years. So RSS has been very slow in practice, and perhaps after 15 days of Narendra Modi's taking over, Narendra Modi somehow wanted to, get swearing-in ceremony conducted, so that thereafter there will be no question, and that is what he did with the help of Nitish Kumar and Chandrababu Naidu. As they say, A plus B, 2AB extra जो मिला उनको, एक आंध्रा से A और बिहार से B. So Andhra and Bihar is 2AB.
Let me intervene with what you said. I am not concerned what went through Mr. Modi's mind. I only know that the parliamentary party, there is a paper which is there called the parliamentary party rules. It requires that after the election has taken place, the leader is elected by the parliamentary party. You violated that. Now, why I should worry about what RSS? RSS never said you have to listen to me, or you have to first come to me, or otherwise we'll dismiss all of you. RSS never says that. It has tolerated so many people who don't deserve to be tolerated. They say, well, we do our work. We want the broad Hindutva ideology to spread, and so we are all our members, they go and canvass for a particular party, because that particular party is espousing our views. So beyond that, RSS don't do this, RSS don't that. Please don't bring RSS into that kind of thing. They have never asked, make this man a candidate, don't make this man a candidate. They may, in a friendly way, make suggestions. So we have to go by the book. The book is the parliamentary party laws. And the parliamentary law says upon the election being completed and the MPs being declared, the parliamentary party shall meet and elect a leader. It doesn't say that the former leader, if there was a leader in the previous one, he can continue. Nothing of the kind. Elect a leader. Please go and read it.
Yes. And you have written to Jagat Prakash Nadda, if I remember, few दो महीने पहले आपने लिखा था कि BJP has not been following its own constitution.
Yes. What about?
And this was a glaring example of how BJP violated the constitution of the party. And in fact, the Lok Sabha speaker also should have, not speaker, the president should have asked that where is the resolution of the political parliamentary party. I don't know
Exactly.
why even president did not ask for it.
Yes, the president, election commission, they're all supposed to. I can give you sections of the Representative People Act where says they should have asked. So we are treating this lightly. I would say, Mr. Modi, even if the whole world was supporting him, I will say no. First, tell me why didn't you come via the rule book? Why didn't you ask the parliamentary? They are your people. It is out of that you are going to select your ministers. So after that, this whole thing looks like a jugglery to continue as prime minister, and he has failed as a prime minister, and therefore I don't think that he should continue. And I think the RSS themselves say that whoever is a pracharak cannot serve in politics beyond the age of 75. And 75 is only another few months. So please tell him in advance he should go and do Margdarshan work. Advani and Mulima Joshi were very popular leaders. But when they were told this, they went quietly and sat at home. So what is the difficulty? Why this man? I don't understand. We can't treat him like Hitler or Mussolini or any of these people as gods, which they did in those countries. We have to say we have to go by the rules. We have to go by the book that we have adopted as ours. We have not followed that. So when the topic says coalition politics, we cannot allow that because of coalition we don't have to go by our party rules or party manifesto or party whatever are the rule books that we have. This is the point I want to make. I'm sorry I've taken too much time. Jagdish can ask other people also their views.
No, Dr. Swamy, this reminds me, which we have told from history, that just before independence, when the Congress party leaders met, a majority, or I would say almost all the states voted in favor of Sardar Patel being the leader of the Congress party, who will ultimately become the prime minister. And it was Mahatma Gandhi who persuaded Sardar Patel not to insist on his claim. And perhaps no state or only one state supported Nehru, and he was imposed as the prime minister. And now we've been saying that how Nehru became the prime minister. So certain things like this. But Dr. Swamy, one thing is certain, that they have not followed the rules of the parliamentary party. And every time, even in the Rajya Sabha, in the last 5 years or 10 years, a leader has to be changed. There has been a parliamentary party meeting to elect the leader of the Rajya Sabha parliamentary party, also the leader of the house, as it is called.
By secret ballot.
Yeah. So this did not happen. But Dr. Swamy, there are some questions related to today's subject. And one of our viewers want to know what will be the effect of a coalition government when it is. I'll just put off the question. One of our viewers wants to know what might be the effect of coalition alliance on Indian foreign policy. We'll take that first, if you can enlighten our viewers. Then he's talking about the industrialization policy. What could be the effect of a coalition government?
Is that the 4,064 square kilometers that China has occupied, none of these coalition partners are in favor of fighting with China on that. I'm not saying you immediately take your guns and go and shoot them, but create an atmosphere, move a resolution in the United Nations, move a resolution in the Security Council, and create an atmosphere. But we don't. But Modi has said, "Koi aaya nahi," and I'm supposed to accept that. I meet the army generals. They say tears come to our eyes when we are told this, that you have to maintain that koi aaya nahi. They have snatched the most valuable Ladakh land, the Chinese. And so similarly, there are so many other things, you see, which they have now violated. So I am not only on this technicality whether he should have come through the parliamentary party or not. I'm saying the whole series of things are there which can only be discussed in the parliamentary party. Supposing the parliamentary party meeting had taken place, some parliamentarians would have definitely done all this study and gone there and raised this issue that we want an alternative candidate, and they may have been outvoted, but the fact is that even that Mr. Modi didn't want. That is the issue. The issue is that what is it that needs to be done, and so on and so forth.
Dr. Swamy, another question from our viewer is that they say that they are not aware of any NDA manifesto being released before the elections.
Right.
So some of the viewers are worried what type of policies will be adopted by the future government or this government going ahead. So if there is no common manifesto or common minimum program, then what happens on important policy matters?
Of course, all the Hindutva issues are anathema to these people. Both Mr. The Andhra man and the Bihar man. It's anathema to them. So we have to give it up. Will Mr. Modi tomorrow say that no, we have to get back all the land which China has taken from us, or that all the temples which were demolished and a masjid built on it? We don't mind going through the court, but we have to. In fact, the demand has been only for 3. Ram, which we have achieved by going to court. Then Kashi Vishwanath, which is also we are ready to argue. There was a temple, and it was thrice broken down, twice by predecessors of Aurangzeb. But once they broke it down, they went away. So the Hindu Rajas then rebuilt it. So when the third time, when Aurangzeb ordered the demolition of the Kashi Vishwanath temple, he said, not only must you demolish it, but I am issuing a fatwa that you have to build a mosque on top of it. Otherwise, these Hindus will rebuild it. And it's against Islam to build a mosque on top of a broken masjid or any other religion's thing. But he himself, Aurangzeb himself, says that's true. But in order for the larger purpose, I am saying that build it on top. And they have built it. Everybody knows that. It cannot be hidden. And I'm not saying that you should send the army and take it over. I'm saying come to court and show that this was your place of building a masjid, and that there was no temple there before, like they tried to argue in Ram Janmabhoomi and failed. But Modi will, of course, only take credit for it. I mean, Modi was opposing me throughout in the Ram Janmabhoomi thing. And then suddenly, when it happened, only him and all your media, of course, is now totally pussycats of Mr. Modi. And they only said, oh, Modi built the Ram Mandir, Modi built the Ram. Please tell me which petition has he filed, which was argued in the court. They won't be able to tell you. So that's the issue. See, I don't want the focus today of this coalition politics to go back, because this is not going to last long. I am telling you, I'm making a prediction. I also, by the way, said they will not get more than 220 or something like that. No, I came pretty close, which others didn't come even that close, you see. And people have been asking me, how did you come to this conclusion? I went constituency by constituency, and I came to the conclusion. Today, I'm telling you, within 6 months, Nitish will start first, was off, and then our Andhra friend will also buzz off, and the whole thing will collapse and will look terrible. So better that BJP sits in the opposition, saying that listen, we cannot give up our ideology, and coalition means ideology, and therefore we will wait for another turn to get an absolute majority, and do that. And workers will be enthused, RSS will be enthused, Vishwadha Parishad will be enthused, all will be enthused, because now we are saying what is in our heart. Today we have to keep quiet. You see, anyway, we were doing this to please the other partners. For instance, Maharashtra, we have done it in Padarpur. I mean, we have taken a whole temple, and the politicians are now holding prayers. They have kicked out all the pujaris, and I have to fight it. The same thing happened in Uttarakhand. Of course, I finally got it all back. They are no different from Karunanidhi, you see. So, if now, of course, they have a bigger reason for not touching Hindutva at all. No, our coalition toot jayegi. So, therefore, don't talk about Hindutva at all. You can talk about going and meeting the Italian Prime Minister and, giving her a hug, and then hugging the. What is the point in hugging the Pope? I don't understand. Nobody else does it. This man goes on hugging him, and he's not even a Christian. So therefore, I think that we have to get back onto the trail of our ideology, and that is what I'm arguing.
So, Dr. Swamy, can we safely say that this coalition politics of NDA will lead to dilution of Hindutva agenda of the BJP, and that is not in the interest of the BJP voters and the Hindutva voters? Can we safely say that?
You are using the wrong word, dilution. It will be the decimation of the Hindutva ideology. They will not let you speak on anything.
But would also many of the viewers are very much concerned about the economic policy of a coalition government. What do you think will happen on that?
See, economic, first of all, you got to know what steps you have to take. Now, all the steps they have taken for the last 10 years hasn't produced results. They may fib and can give measures where they have not allowed for the inflation. They can do all kinds of things in a newspaper. But if I ask them to have a debate, they will not have a debate with me. The World Bank says something about India doing so well because whatever India sends to World Bank, they just repeat it. They don't do their own analysis. They may be doing some secret analysis and keeping it for themselves. But as far as announcements of the World Bank is concerned, it is exactly what you have said there. And you've got lots of Indians also there who will, will act according to what the Indian government says to them. Otherwise, they may fear that they may lose their job. So here the issue is, I don't know, as far as Chandrababu Naidu is concerned, he has no economic policy. So he will give all his thing to the favorites. He has no problem with the BJP because there are hardly any BJP in Andhra. So as far as Nitish is concerned, BJP has done very well in Andhra Pradesh, in Bihar, as I'm told. But they won't get any place. Nitish will see to it that they don't come. And on the threat that they will withdraw if you do it. So why are you putting up with all this so that Modi can remain as Prime Minister?
Okay, Arvind.
So, Dr. Swamy, do you suggest that BJP should not have formed the weak coalition, and there is a danger of the coalition in 6 months' time?
They should have valiantly said that twice we won with huge majorities, and suddenly we have lost it.
But there is no possibility of opposition forming a government because Congress coalition.
Let there be another election then.
Then there will be election.
What do you mean? You will win hands down then. They say at least BJP gave us 10 years of uninterrupted government. So they can manage, give it to them. Congress
So, do you
benefited
see that happening, Dr. Swamy? That within a year we will have next election?
Now it is a question of which coalition is going to come. Because we have discredited ourselves. We are available for purchase. So therefore, today you cannot say, yes, if you change Modi and bring another leader who is very firm, saying that as far as Hindutva is concerned, we are not going to make any difference. If you want to come with us, you will have to accept this. Then our stock will go up and then we'll be able to make it.
So indirectly, Dr. Swamy, what you are saying is, if suppose Modi is eased out by various Sangh Parivar forces by the next 6 months or a year, and a new leader of the BJP emerged to take his place, and he is solidly with Hindutva ideology, and he will make it a prestige issue even in the NDA, then there is a very bright future for the BJP to emerge probably in the next election as a party with a full majority. Is that what you are saying?
Yeah, the NDA should. You tell them that these are the 5-6 important issues that we have to implement. Otherwise, we lose our credibility. And if you want, you can have another election. If nobody can form a coalition government, then obviously there'll be more elections, and then we'll go and tell them that no, except us, nobody can run a government for 10 years. So the issue is that there's no compromise on the fundamentals. If you say, for instance, if I say no temple should be managed by the government, that is not Hindutva, because that's in the Constitution. Article 25 of the Constitution says you cannot, except where there's a financial mismanagement, then only that part you can look for a short period, set it right, and even that should be returned. Finance should be returned back to the temple. But as far as the temple itself is concerned, government cannot run it, but it is running. Mr. Fadnavis, he's running a temple. I'm fighting it in court. It's laughable. I, as a member of the BJP, is opposing the man who is first chief minister, and then now I think he's deputy chief minister. Tomorrow he'll be assistant chief minister, but he will continue. It says what the assembly has passed in Maharashtra, that the whole religious functioning of the temple of Pandharpur will be conducted by the government. What government knows about it? They are not going to keep pujari. Government department, upper division clerk. These are the guys who are going to sit in and do the puja in Pandharpur.
And also, Dr. Swamy, they took over a new temple even when Fadnavis was the chief minister, that is the Shani Shingnapur temple in Maharashtra.
My next target, yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Swamy. Arvind, you can.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Swamy. I think we are facing a very important transitional phase of this government. And maybe Dr. Swamy has been reading Indian politics for more than 50 years. He has been a very important component, a part of the Indian politics, so he understands the nitty-gritties or the small nuances which we all miss. And if he says that this government is not going to last, he has never been wrong. Viewers, let me just tell you, if you look at the political predictions made by Dr. Swamy regarding an individual, regarding a political party, or regarding a coalition or a government, he has never been wrong. And therefore, in today's program, Dr. Swamy is reading, or he's reading the situation and predicting that the ideal situation for BJP is to shun the coalition and sit in the opposition and let the opposition form the government. And if they fail, let us go for election. I think this is a very, very significant point he has made in today's program. Thank you, Dr. Swamy, for analyzing this and coming to some kind of prediction, I would say. And as I said, I repeat that Dr. Swamy has never been wrong in such kind of situation. Thank you. It's a very important point for all of us. We say that we are achieved 6% growth or 7% growth or 8% growth, and we are targeting 10% growth or whatever. But India is at the verge of deciding the path of progress, development, and at this point, we need stability in the government. And if there is no stability, as we have two crutches for the government, and I'm sure the government cannot follow policies which will provide stability to the government. From that point of view, also, today's discussion is very important. Thank you, Dr. Swamy. Thank you, Jagdish. Thanks the technical team led by Ashish Shetty, Gadgi Rakesh, Ishwar Iyer, Swaminathan, Tejas Navalgul, Vishal Mehta, Ajesh Nair, and Gurdas Shetty. We could not meet 2 weeks, last week and another week on 25th of June, but we'll be regular now. So next week again we'll come up with a new topic, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time next Sunday with Dr. Subramanian Swamy. And viewers, we welcome you again to join us week after week as you have been very supportive. Thank you very much. We'll be meeting next Sunday. Till then, Namaskar, Jai Hind.
Jai Shri Ram.